son. Where'd you find this?
Just do it! Make your dreams come true!
A few moments later.
You are now listening to Podcast 42, the world's most popular, inaccurate, and sometimes squirreled retelling of pop culture history.
It's okay. We still believe in you anyway.
Barely.
I don't know what song that is.
I just made it up. It wasn't
okay.
a song. It was just me saying words like you need to do right now.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I'm so out of it. I got a lot of shit going on the next couple of days.
A lot of shit?
Yes.
You're going to sit in the toilet and do a little pooping?
No.
Nope, she's going to run and poop herself.
Yep.
Speaking of pooping, let's open up JL's beer cooler.
What does that have to do with poop?
Oh, my days. Yeah.
Chris, was that you or the couch?
That was the couch.
Are you sure? You were just talking about pooping.
I'm positive, because if it was me, it would have been much worse.
Beer is good! Beer is good! Beer is good! Next up! Beer is good! Beer is good! Beer is good! Let's go drink some beer!
All right, well, I actually filled JL today. Filled JL's beer cooler.
You promised you weren't going to tell.
And I picked the beer solely on the label alone. It is Star Trek: The Next Generation's Captain's Holiday.
Is it the little tiki guy that made you have to get it?
Yeah, well, it just said Star Trek. That's it.
That's enough.
And it's the 30th anniversary ale, brewed with natural citrus flavors. Mm-hmm. So we will drink this throughout the podcast, and we will let you know at the end. Oh, it's by Shmaltz.
Yeah.
Shmaltz. Isn't that something Gary brought?
Yeah, Gary brought Shmaltz.
He did. Aren't they the ones who did the
Awful Hanukkah beer.
Yes.
or the Monty Python Holy Ale?
That one. Didn't he? I think you might have mentioned the Star Trek one.
I don't
when
know.
you brought it in.
But thank you, Gary, for introducing us to Shmaltz in the past.
Yep.
Yeah. The Holy Grail one was good, but that Hanukkah one was not so good.
Yeah.
Hanukkah. I did
All right,
have
well,
the
stay tuned
Hanukkah
at the
beer.
end of the show for what we think of the beer. Now, let's get into the deep and dark history of sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys has a dark history.
Sea monkeys does have a dark
Oh
history.
boy, I can't wait to hear.
After World War II, the baby boom happened. Do you know what the baby boom was?
That means all the soldiers come home from war and they bang, 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 and then and then 9 months later, there's lots and lots of babies popping up out of everybody.
I am going to let Nicole
Yeah.
give the birds and the bees talk to my kid.
Yes.
That's all I know after this is that she is doing that.
Alex, sit down.
Because guess what? Before you were born, Mommy and Daddy went bang, bang, bang.
And with the baby boom came the need for more toys. Did you know that? More toys after more babies.
No way.
With the need for more toys, Milton Levine, or Uncle Milton, and his company was called Uncle Milton.
I think it's Levine.
Levine?
Yeah.
Like not Craig Levine?
Or Adam Levine.
It might be. I don't know.
Oh, Levine. As his company was called Uncle Milton. Uncle Milton is the company that bought us the box of soldiers for $1. The potato gun, which I still love to this day, is one of my favorite childhood toys. Toy shrunken heads. Oh, I was robbed as a child. Balloon animals, and most importantly, the ant farm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did any of you had an ant farm?
No.
No.
Nope.
I had the box of soldiers for $1, and they were mega disappointing.
I had sea monkeys, but
Not there yet.
We're not to the sea
Calm
monkeys yet.
down.
And you may be in shock,
Yeah.
especially with your religion.
Ooh.
Foreshadowing.
oh boy.
Most of these toys were sold through the advertisement at the back of comic books.
That's where I saw him.
Yeah.
Why was the ant farm the most important? Because the ant farm would help inspire Harold von Braut.
Braun Hunt.
Yes, Brown Hunt, like Braun, but the hut, like Pizza the
Braun
Hut.
Hut.
to invent because the ant farm would help inspire Harold von Braunhut to invent and market sea monkeys.
Harold came across as charming and was known for being able to bend your ear in conversation. He was short, balding, and had a funny accent, like somebody else we know. Harold
He's short.
I don't think he's balding, but the funny accent is right on.
Oh, yeah.
Harold?
I think Harold talked like the Swedish chef.
Harold was an inventor and entrepreneur who was always looking for the next big gimmicky toy. Von Braunhut?
Pizza the Hut.
Yeah. was first found success.
Yes.
Von Braunhut first
say
found
Harold
success with the X-ray specs. The ad showed a guy wearing the specs grinning at a woman in a dress. Shocker. An ad that, if ran today, would trigger Facebook happy activists into a typing frenzy of online petitions, controversial status updates, and college campus counselor-led support groups until the next big trigger event came along, usually around 4 hours later that same day.
And that's absolutely true because this is a famous ad. It's a grinning guy. Mm-hmm. He's looking at his hand, but in the background is a woman in a dress, and he's just got that look. And he's wearing the glasses.
And that ad, I can remember as a kid in England. So,
it's far-reaching.
Yes, and today everyone would lose their ever-loving mind over it.
We're now going to use that ad to promote the podcast.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. The specs, of course, didn't really work. It was an illusion created by grooves in the lenses. Harold's big success before sea monkeys had been the invisible goldfish. I bet it was just as successful as a pet rock was, but the kit came with a glass bowl, a handbook, and fish food. And that was it. There was a 100% guarantee with each kit sold that the buyer would never see the fish. Harold could not keep the kits in stock as they sold really well.
Remember, this was an earlier time.
Yes, obviously.
It probably still would sell today.
Yeah.
Interesting side note, he also invented the doll's eyes that could close on their own when the doll is laid down on its back.
Which creeped me out
Which
so
I
bad.
had as a child.
That
And
didn't
she
make
still
you.
has.
That didn't make you scared.
No, I thought it was cool.
Really?
I liked that. I thought that was kind of cool. I could figure out that it was when I laid it down. It was something weighted. What I found more interesting was when you had like the baby bottles and you turn them upside down and the liquid disappeared. I was like, how is that working?
Simpler time. Remember, Chris, it was a simpler time.
The same way the beer disappears when you put it to your mouth.
No, it's not the same. It's a toy.
It's working for me right now.
The baby actually drunk that liquid and then spit it back into the bottle
That's how you got the
Backwash.
baby alive.
after it closed its creepy doll eyes when you laid it down.
Von Braunhut had a love of the natural world and of the animal kingdom. The Safeway near Von Braunhut's home on Bryan's Road, Maryland, would set aside expired bread for him and his wife, Yolanda. The couple would sometimes buy 2 or 3 cartloads of the bread. They were feeding animals at their 70-acre property, which they called the Montrose Wildlife Conservation. One day, as Harold was wandering around a pet store, he happened upon a bucket of brine shrimp.
Wait, is there a typo?
No, I can't talk. The brine shrimp were normally used to feed bigger fish. He thought that kids would go nuts over these little hard-to-see, as well as see-through creatures. They would be the next big, or rather small, thing to have as pets.
How many people in this room had the sea monkeys?
I had
did.
sea monkeys.
I had sea monkeys.
No.
You never had sea monkeys?
No.
Next Christmas, jail.
It's kind of cool.
That surprises me. I thought you'd be all over it.
I was
No.
shopping for gifts for kids this Christmas season, and I almost got them that, but I decided not to.
Why?
So
Because they're major disappointment?
no. One of them's really young, and I was afraid he would like pick it up and try and look at it and then drop it, and they would go everywhere. So I just decided it was.
Oh, good. Thank you for not doing that.
You're welcome.
Bang, bang.
Oh, it's like James's favorite song.
The great thing about the brine shrimp was they underwent a state called cryptobiosis. Crypto meaning secret and biosis meaning life. The brine shrimp could produce eggs that lay dormant for years, thus protecting them from harsh environments such as drought or freezing. And much like Kool-Aid, just add water and the magic happens. With the Kool-Aid, you get magical grape or stupid yucky cherry, and with the brine shrimp, you get life.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't knock down your walls. The brine shrimp don't knock down your walls.
Oh, yeah!
So there's a plus. The thought process behind this toy pet hybrid was that you could see the shrimp come to life. The kit would come with the MicroViewer Ocean Zoo. Kind of looked like a clear oblong top of a kitchen blender. It had magnifying outcropping circles around it for enhanced viewing. First, you would add packet number 1. This was the water purifier. You would stir that in and wait a whopping 24 hours for the effects to take place. After the longest 24 hours of any single kid's life passes, you would add packet number 2. And that's true, because I would add the packet early.
That's how you don't get successful sea monkeys.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Wait till you learn.
All right.
This is where the eggs were supposed to be. Shortly after adding this packet, your brine shrimp awoke from their cryptobiosis state and started doing all those famous things sea monkeys are known for, like swimming left and then swimming right, and then swimming left, and then swimming right, and then swimming left. You can cut me off anytime.
Well, the thing is, Chris, I could cut you off, but you on my script, you wrote JL.
Oh, did I?
So I was waiting.
Bum, bum, bum. It says James on mine.
It says James on mine.
It is your
It
turn.
says James on mine.
Oh, you've got the lost script. You're
got
going to
the
be lost
original.
the entire time.
Yeah, I know, I'm going to be like, did you just put... Yep, you did. JL every time.
Did I?
This could be fun.
We'll point to you.
Yes. They were initially called Instant Life and sold for 49 cents. Sorry, I almost said pence. That would have been funny. So they sold for 63 pence. But Van Braunhout changed the name to Sea Monkeys in 1962. The new name was based on the resemblance of the animals' tails to those of monkeys, which in reality looked nothing like a monkey's tail.
And
maybe
they didn't.
no, they look.
They
maybe
look like
never-
seahorses.
They didn't even look like
No,
seahorses.
they look like little baby crabs. They look like shrimp. But yeah,
Yeah, I guess crabs. Yeah,
Like-
they look like nothing. Specks.
Yeah.
Specks with legs.
So much like Uncle Milton, von Braunhardt took to advertising in comic books, and a lot of companies thought comic book advertising was a waste of money. But not only was it cheaper, it marketed to the exact audience Van Braunhardt needed: kids,
Stupid kids.
comic book kids.
Yeah.
All of us.
Well,
in
not the
room.
comic book kids are stupid, but kids would look at this advertisement and think this was great, and it wasn't great.
Well, yeah, because they got X-ray glasses at the same time.
I bought 73 pairs. I had yet to see any naked women with them.
And how old are you? You never seen a naked woman?
With the glasses.
Oh, okay. I was like,
As
you're
a
virgin,
kid.
just got real.
Not now. Now my X-ray glasses work.
Van Braunholt bought 3.2
You
million.
keep saying Van.
Sorry, because I keep thinking of the soccer player. That's why, because I think there's a soccer player called Van Braunholt. Yeah,
We're all American. We don't watch soccer.
well, yeah, it's the biggest game in the world. So he bought 3.2 million pages of a comic book ads a year. Then he hired Joe Orlando, who would later become vice president of DC Comics, to draw the advert. The drawing of the sea monkeys looked like brine shrimp with faces and little pudgy pink bodies. What they do, because they look really friendly and like, look,
Yeah,
we're
they
really
look-
happy.
they
We're
look
going to be
awesome.
like that. They also had hands, feet, and a long, like, monkey tail thing. The drawings were fun and playful and made the sea monkeys look like they would actually be something cool to observe. However, kids all over the world would learn the true meaning of disappointment when the really tiny speck shrimp came to life and looked nothing like the human monkey shrimp things that they wanted them to be.
Yeah, you couldn't pull the wool over kids' eyes that easy.
No. Jay, are you familiar with Joe Orlando?
No.
I'm surprised. I figured you
I know
be the
Tony
only one
Orlando.
who knew. And Don.
And Dawn.
Okay.
I know Orlando Bloom, and it's derpy.
It's flippy. Besides the Joe Orlando drawings, the ad copy of the Sea Monkeys painted a great, wonderful picture of fun in a packet. Here's an example of a typical real sea monkey ad. Enjoy the wonderful world of amazing live sea monkeys. Own a bowl full of happiness. Instant pets. Just add water. That's all. In 1 second, your amazing sea monkeys actually come to life. Yes, they hatch instantly right before your eyes. Now, simply grow and enjoy the most adorable pets ever to bring smiles, laughter, and fun into your home. So eager to please, they can even be trained. Always clowning around, these frolicsome pets swim, stunt, and play games with each other. Because they are so full of tricks, you'll never tire of watching them. And raising sea monkeys is so easy, even a 6-year-old could do so without help. Sea monkeys eat very little, and they keep their water so clean. They'll require only minimum care, although they love attention. Anyone who enjoys the company of pets will adore sea monkeys. Best of all, we even show you how to teach them to obey your commands like a pack of friendly trained seals. What a way to surprise your guests.
You know, this ad could also double as the second girl I ever dated. This would be an ad we could take out on her.
Because she was.
So she came to your house and did tricks for the family?
Yeah, and she required little care, and she loved water.
Oh.
Yeah. And she had a tail.
Because she was free! 1 year supply of growth food, living plasma, water purifier, a magnificent fully illustrated manual of sea monkey care, raising, training, and breeding, our famous growth guarantee in writing. Now, despite sea monkeys becoming a pop icon, they were mostly a disappointment to those who shelled out the $1.25 to receive them. Is this true, you three?
Yes, very much so.
I'll have a sea monkey story for later about how,
I'm sure by the time I got them, they were more than $1.25.
I mean, they're $19 on Amazon now.
Really?
Yeah.
$19?
$19. I just Amazoned it.
Wow.
Did you use Amazon Prime to get them here in time?
Yes, they'll be here by the end of the show.
Awesome.
What year was this? Did we say what year this was around? Oh, after World War II.
Yes.
Got it. Continue.
Bang, bang. Most children ended up having their sea monkeys never hatch, or if they hatched, would die in a matter of days. Sounds like every goldfish anybody's ever had. So, despite this, the critters have made their way into all sorts of fandom with numerous websites and books dedicated to the love of the shrimp. Sea monkey eggs even went to space with John Glenn in 1988 and came back intact.
Like, that was a big surprise. I mean, that was the whole point. Like, was anybody shocked when this happened in 1988? That was the whole point of the eggs. They could survive all these
Yeah,
environments.
they're frozen.
Yeah. What was the point?
There wasn't
There was
one.
none.
As if sea monkey life might be the key to colonizing Mars. It could have been.
I mean, could you imagine giant sea monkeys running around Mars?
Now, that would be cool.
That'd be a movie. Hang on.
Yes.
Write that down.
Right there. Yes,
Sea
write
monkey.
that down.
Copyright.
Sea
Copyright.
monkeys of Mars.
Trademark.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, it's going to work
It's
that
not
way
like
now.
calling shotgun, you know.
It's going to
Shotgun.
work now.
No take backsies. The shrimp also spawned a live-action series for kids on CBS in the early 90s. I don't remember this. So, the show focused on 3 sea monkeys, Dave, Bill, and Aquarius. Really?
Aquarius.
Yeah.
Oh, and their creator,
Aquarius.
the professor, played by Howie Mandel. Was this on after Bobby's World?
I don't know. I never heard of this either.
The plot centered on the fact that the professor had accidentally enlarged 3 sea monkeys to human size. Each sea monkey displayed a certain odd character trait. Aquarius could not keep a secret. Bill was afraid of a beard.
I still don't understand what that...
Oh, he's got a beard!
That's what I'm thinking. I don't understand that at all.
Oh, but here's the best. And Dave would grow excited at the sound of polka music.
With
How
some
can you not?
So you poke it?
And
Poco
by
Poco?
excited, we mean what?
Yeah.
Giggity, giggity, goo. Bang, 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 bang.
And to the surprise of nobody, the show lasted 11 episodes before being canceled.
Well, I'm surprised it got to 11 episodes. That's
I feel
impressive.
like with animated series, they make a bunch of them, and then they just go, all right, here you go. Here's a bunch of episodes. And then it's like, oh, never mind. We're good after this.
So do you
Yeah.
reckon there's the Lost Sea Monkey episodes out there?
What's that?
The Lost Sea Monkeys cartoon episodes?
Now that would be a series right there. The Lost Sea Monkeys.
I bet it's on YouTube somewhere. Sea monkeys have even been studied. One place that does such studies is the Bored People Center. No, one place that does such studies is the Center for Post-Natural History. The Post-Natural History Center dedicates itself to the study of the origins, habitats, and evolution of organisms that have been intentionally altered by humans. They are particularly interested in sea monkeys because they have been bred to match the life cycle of a toy. This sounds like a scary place.
It really does. It also sounds like where they created Rocket Raccoon.
Could be. I'm sure they studied that clone sheep. What was the
Dolly.
name of that clone sheep? Dolly?
Yeah. Didn't they cut that in half and make it into art?
What?
They cut Dolly in half and made it into an art piece. They pickled Dolly the sheep.
Well, that's just creepy.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's just wrong.
Nicole,
Yeah.
can you Google that?
What am I Googling?
Cutting Dolly the sheep in half and turning it into an art form, which I think was done in England. There was some artist that did it. Squirrel.
Harold wasn't just an inventor. Moving on from that horrid image. Jeez.
That was part of Dolly coming back up on you.
No, God. Harold wasn't just an inventor. He raced motorcycles under the name of the Green Hornet. He was
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
He was also a manager of entertainers and novelty acts, such as Henry the Moth, who would dive from 60 feet into 10 inches of water, which they don't do anymore. Like, those acts were really popular back then, but nobody dives into no water anymore,
You can't get insurance for that nowadays.
I guess. And Harold held over 195 patents, including this one that advertised these words: Spring Whip Defense Mechanism having means to permit disassembly thereof. You may ask yourself, so why was this patent purposely pointed out in a lesson about sea monkeys? Well, here is why.
All right, let's find out. The suspense.
Sorry, I was Googling Dolly the sheep and
That's
now
what I was
completely
doing.
lost it.
Oh, don't forget, where it says JL on that page is really James.
Not all the time.
No, down, down, down.
Where? Where says Nicole?
No. Just above Nicole.
Where says Chris?
Oh my God.
Don't go down that far.
I've got no chance of this script.
That's you. This is a test.
So I'm here trying to research Dolly the sheep art, and I'm getting screwed with the script as always.
Yes.
Because it's now not even in my name.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Just guess. You're after
Yeah,
me.
I'm just always after Chris.
Yeah, that's
okay.
It goes in order.
All right. So, deep breath. The spring-whipped defense mechanism was brought to the market of the Kyoga Agent M5. Wow, that is a mouthful. A spring-loaded,
That's what she said.
Yeah. A spring-loaded rigged whip that telescopes out of its handle with the press of a button. When von Braunhart...
Harold.
When Harold, the guy whose name no one can say, was passing through the security of LaGuardia Airport in 1979, his...
Attaché.
Attaché.
What does that even mean?
It's a fancy case. Fancy
Oh,
briefcase.
A fancy briefcase. I've never heard of it. His fancy briefcase carrying 6 of these devices attracted attention, and he was arrested on illegal weapons charges. He won the dismissal on the grounds that the Kyoga Agent M5 was not a bludgeon and did not meet the criteria of any banned weapons.
Okay.
But the device was advertised if you need a gun but can't get a license because it's a hornet's nest of piano wire, steel spring, inflicted excruciating agony on your assailant.
All right.
So basically, this is a stick that he invented, and when you whip it, out come these wires to attack people with.
No, the press of a button.
Oh, yeah,
So
the
you
press
have
of
to
a
whip
button.
and press the button?
Yes, and then
the
these
piano
wires shoot
are
out
made
the
of
top.
steel, and then they...
Rip
Yeah.
into people?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And that was available for purchase?
Yeah.
Yes, in the back of comic books.
Why do we not have one?
And yet we were more concerned about lawn darts.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh boy. Yeah, where was it advertised? One venue was the newsletter of the Aryan Nations, the anti-Semitic white supremacist group. Its founder and then leader was Richard Gerndt Butler, whom was called the hub of the wheel of racist revolution, the elder statesman of American hate.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun! The tragic, dark past of the sea monkeys.
That's right.
When Butler was under indictment for sedition?
Sedition.
Sedition, thank you. In 1987, for allegedly plotting to overthrow the U.S. government, he sent out a fundraising appeal. It included a brochure for the Kyoga Agent M5 and stated that the manufacturer has made a pledge of $25 to my defense fund for each one sold to Aryan Nation supporters. Butler and his co-defendants were later acquitted by an Arkansas jury. When speaking to the Spokane Spokesman Review, what is that alliteration? Spokane Spokesman Review.
That's actually the name of the...
Oh, I believe it. I'm just saying it's funny naming for it.
It's not funny, but you will laugh at you saying it's...
In 1988, Butler described Harold von Braunhut as a longtime friend who has supported us quite a few years. And in fact, Braunhut appeared frequently at the yearly Aryan World Congress at Butler's Whites Only compound in Hayden Lake, Idaho, and would sometimes get to be the lighter of the burning cross.
You go, Harold, you racist.
Harold the racist, but had kids' toys and looked after pets.
Exactly. Who knew?
No.
It explains so much.
An assistant U.S. attorney, Thomas N. Bauer, told the Washington Post that in a 1985 weapons case against a member of the Ku Klux Klan, Grand Dragon Dale R. Resch, Harold was prepared to testify that he had let Resch about $12,000 so he could buy 83 firearms. Bauer told the reporter that Harold was very pleasant and cooperative and brought some of his little toys along, including sea monkeys, which made everything okay.
Yeah, so you got away with everything.
Yeah,
Awesome.
So
Here you go. Here are your firearms. Have
Yeah.
some sea monkeys with them.
Yeah, okay, go ahead and kill all the Jews and blacks then. I got these sea monkeys. I'm okay. Yeah, that's fine. Wow.
These things you never expect to hear on a podcast.
Yeah. The general view of the Aryan nations holds against Jewish people is that they are directly descended from the devil. It seems clear that Harold, who owned Nazi memorabilia and once said Hitler just got bad press, signed on to these beliefs. But one has to wonder what brought him to the point of nodding along with his friend Butler, for instance, described Jews as the disease of the decomposition of our society.
Wow.
It gets better. Aryan Nation members might have been dismayed to hear that Harold engaged a law firm called Friedman and Goldman early in his career. They might also have been puzzled that his name was listed on early patents as Harold N. Braunhut. The middle initial stands for Nathan. Harold von Braunhut was born and raised Jewish.
So he was a Jew who hated Jews.
Yeah.
Many fine people on both sides.
It's not entirely clear why the Aryan nations didn't cast von Braunhut out after the Washington Post gave a thorough account of his Jewish origins in 1988. Harold said, "I will not make any statements whatsoever" on the topic. The article also reported that he was born in Manhattan and that he gave an address that he was rooted in heavily Jewish populated Brighton Beach, which is in Brooklyn. Oh, Brighton Beach is just outside London. You're lying to me again, America. Things that I found out about your geography. He lived in the part of New York City in the mid-1980s. The Post reported that Harold paid for the upkeep of his parents' graves at a Jewish cemetery in Long Island in 1979, which makes you wonder why Harold was keeping up as helping a Klansman buy 83 guns in 1980.
So he was playing both sides, but...
See? Many fine people on both sides.
So he was your typical arms dealer and playing both sides and selling to both.
But I don't know if you
The
could...
children and the Aryan
So he
nation.
was...
But it's different when you're neutral, but he was grounded in the religion, but you can't play both sides
But
on
he's
that.
a Stark.
He's a Stark?
Yeah, he's
a mix of Stark and of Stain.
Yeah. We're called Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Oh,
Remember?
I was going Game of Thrones.
No, he's not like a Stark there. No, he's a Stark as in... Because don't forget the Stark's whole comic book history. Essentially, he's that character. He looks after both.
Yeah.
Because he takes he hates everyone, but he doesn't hate anyone. He's
I don't
friends
know
with
if you could play both sides because
He's a real life... Yeah.
the Aryans hate Jews and blacks and countless other things. How can you...
You give them sea monkeys. We've just found this
Oh,
out, Chris.
everything's better with sea
Maybe
monkeys.
he was doing it to screw him over once they found out they were buying from a Jew.
Maybe. That could be it.
Maybe. It was supposed that the Aryan nations did not believe the Washington Post. They just took it as a massive conspiracy to burn the truth and subjugate white people. Harold even presided over the leader of the Aryan Nation wife's funeral in 1995. The same leader who stated time and time again that Jews were descended from Satan.
So the second big reveal, besides the inventor of sea monkeys being a white supremacist, was in the sea monkey packet themselves.
Oh, man.
Packet number 1, that is supposed to be the water purifier, actually contained the eggs. This gave the sea monkeys time to actually get big enough
shocked.
so you could
None of those
still
shocked her.
see them.
She's Jewish. None of those other shocked her. But now she's in shock.
She's in shock that we got lied to that there wasn't a water purifier.
Yes.
Wow.
Britta lied to me.
Wow.
Yep.
Wait. You got to finish this so you can tell what packet 2 is.
Oh yeah, packet number 2 was labeled the eggs, but it actually contained a little bit of blue dye to coat the sea monkeys so you could see them better.
Whoa.
And that is the dark secret of sea monkeys.
Yes.
Whoa.
Bum, bum,
It makes so much sense.
Because they obviously needed 24 hours to grow.
They needed 24 hours to grow so that you could actually see them.
Wow.
And in that 24 hours, you're doing other stuff. You're not watching it the whole time and seeing them develop slowly but surely.
I bought...
I don't think... Wait, but I'm sorry. I don't think the blue dye is to coat the sea monkeys. I think it's to darken the water so that way you can see them better. I don't think it technically coats them.
No, yeah, it
Just
gives them a little bit of a...
hole there.
Because they're see-through. They're clear things.
Yeah. But I don't think it coats them. I think it just darkens the water so that way you can
the
see
dye so you can actually see them a little better?
Yeah, no, it's for the sea monkeys.
All right, maybe.
Because if they darken the water, you won't see them at all.
My suggestion is to buy a thing of sea monkeys and then to buy the whip thing. And then when the sea monkeys don't hatch, you can whip that little micro...
No, that's how you train them.
In the shape.
That's how you train them. They were talking about training the sea monkeys to do tricks. You get the whip to
That's
get
fine,
them
but when we get
to
the whip,
perform.
we're listening to Devo.
No, see what I think you should do is you should hatch the sea monkeys and then get some kind of bigger fish at the aquarium and just watch the big fish eat them all.
Those fish are going to be hungry. They never grow.
And on our next trip to SeaWorld...
We're taking sea monkeys with us?
Yes.
SeaWorld should have a sea monkeys exhibit, except for they probably wouldn't want the whole Aryan Nation history behind them now.
Yeah, they have enough controversy, SeaWorld.
Yeah, they like to kill whales instead. Blackfish. Did you watch Blackfish?
Racist.
No.
I didn't either.
It's a really good documentary. I don't know if I believe all of it, but it's a good documentary.
Ooh, you know it's a good documentary? The one about Slender Man. And there's a Slender Man movie coming out.
I couldn't get through the Slender Man documentary. I got bored, yeah.
Well, then the movie should probably be good. It's
The
supposed
movie
to
will
be
be
like
better.
the next It, but not
It
It.
what?
It's about time they made a Slender Man movie. He's only been hanging around the internet for, 10, 12 years?
Hey, listener, Dutch here from Voice from the Underground, the podcast. My co-host and I want to invite you to check out our little corner of the podcast verse. At Voice from the Underground, we talk about all the crazy happening around us and try to make a little bit of sense out of the nonsense with little to no results. If the idea of hearing three semi-intelligent, outspoken nerds talk about politics, social issues, current events, sports, movies, pretty much anything that we decide to talk about because, well, it's our show, appeals to you, grab your shovel and come on down to the underground, and then consult a qualified psychotherapist. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, just not where you buy your weed.
Voice from the Underground.
Well, let's move on to our second dark history subject.
Wow.
We're going into the dark history of pockets.
What?
Like deep, dark pockets.
Mm-hmm.
We're going into Nicole's deep dark pocket.
We are. It's,
my days.
Nicole has a lot to do with this, actually.
Ooh.
Just
She has
by,
a lot of pockets.
just by her gender.
Why does it have to be about that?
Pockets are the greatest thing to happen to pants since, well, the invention of pants. The best pockets are ones that are large enough to put anything inside of them, such as a wallet, a phone, lipstick, or even a Sea Monkey Micro View Ocean Zoo.
Ooh.
In this room, who has pockets on right now?
Me.
Yeah.
Everyone.
You do have pockets in those pants? Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought those were...
Back.
I thought
Then
they
a-
were just for show.
No.
Okay. I thought those were runner's pants without pockets.
No.
I was just trying to make a point, but it didn't work.
Sorry.
You ruined it.
3 out of 4 people wear pants
Well,
with pockets.
wait a second. You just said it's because of women that there are pockets. So if I was the one who didn't have pockets, it would throw the entire theory out the window.
No, it would have worked for the story. If you were the only one in this room without pockets, it would have matched the story.
Way to jump ahead,
We
Chris.
should have set that up. That's if you're a man, at least.
There we go.
Women's pockets are a different story altogether. They
right.
tend to be small, mostly decorative than functional, and pretty much useless. Why, though? Why make women's pockets so much different than the wonderful pockets that are afforded to men?
Ooh, I know. Because I'm going to guess women wore dresses for a very, very long time and didn't wear pants.
That has something to do with it.
See?
Purses. I'm
You
going to say
don't-
purses.
That had a little bit to do with it.
Jail,
So
what's
does this
your-
next part say your name?
I'm
'Cause
going to
it's
let
supposed to be
James
you.
read it. I don't
It
want to
says-
guess.
No, yeah.
It says his name.
This is
Does
you,
it say your
James. This
name?
is really you.
Whose name is it?
It says James.
Oh, perfect.
awesome.
He's
It's
ready
definitely
to
me
go.
on this side of the script. I don't have to guess anymore.
There you go. We liked you for pockets, but not for sea monkeys.
That's right.
Turns out pockets have been fashion's favorite little dirty secret since the 17th century. Women's clothes didn't really have internal pockets for most of history. Even though men started acquiring pockets in the late 1600s, according to London's Victoria and Albert Museum, which I've been to. It's a very nice museum there. While pockets in menswear were often sewn directly into garments just like they are today, women had to get crafty and wrap a sack with string around their waist and tuck it in under their petticoats. Do you know what a petticoat is? I don't know. Do you have petticoats?
There was a junction there.
I know what a petticoat is only because my wife's a seamstress.
Oh.
Not really. It's just
It's
briefly
a thing under a skirt that pushes the skirt
Oh,
out.
yeah, to make it all fluffy.
Yes.
Got it. Cool.
As you can imagine, these purse-like items were much harder to access. Back then, a woman's bottom half attire consisted of a gown with a petticoat, then underneath that was an under petticoat, and then underneath that was a shift.
Do you know what a shift is?
No, what?
It's like the pants.
It's like that jumper, like that underwear jumper thing.
Yeah.
Like that one piece that you see in, like, women wear in period movie pieces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This sack with a string thingy was hung under her dress, but over the under petticoat, making it very difficult to access unless she was nearly nude. At least nude by 17th century standards.
I mean, down to her shift.
Yes.
Yep.
That was very inappropriate.
Do not get a woman down to a shift.
That's right. It was basically like having two fanny packs bulging underneath your skirt. Two fanny packs that you really couldn't get too modestly.
Throughout the 1700s, the pouches women used as makeshift pockets became increasingly decorative. They began adding embroidery designs to them. Another major improvement added slits in women's dresses to offer easier access to their secret pockets. If you were a woman of means, which probably meant you had pockets, you would use them to carry everything from pincushions to cakes. Cakes.
That sack does a lot of things there.
I'm just going to pull out a cake from
That's
my
what she
pocket.
said.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could put cakes in my pockets today.
Why did that trend continue?
Now, around the 1800s, the silhouette of popular dresses slimmed down, leaving no room for secret under pockets.
Oh, no.
Putting women's cakes at risk of not being able to be transported by pocket, the purse was invented.
Oh, look.
Here we go.
Purse pockets.
They were called reticules. Reticules.
You didn't give me this line this week.
Reticules.
Reticules.
Oh.
I don't think it's reticules. Reticules. Reticules.
Reticules?
I feel like this is a James line.
They were called reticules.
Reticules. And they were tiny bags that women carried in their hands rather than on their hips. So these aren't like the regular purses. These are very tiny. Over time, they became more decorated, much like the cake pockets, and were also a status symbol of sorts. This was because they were not large enough to carry money or cakes, and if you were a woman with a small reticule, you let your man handle all your money affairs. If you're a woman with a large reticule, I'm sure I'm butchering that word to death.
Yeah.
Don't worry, none of us know it.
It's a small purse. If you had a big one, you were looked down on because that meant you were a working woman who could not afford to just stay home and spend the day making tiny cakes to put in pockets and purses.
You know they're called handbags in England. Now I know why they're called handbags.
So they can hold tiny cakes?
No, because they've went in your hand.
Did you never figured that out before?
No, I never really thought about that. I never really...
It took us learning the history of pockets.
Yeah, the pockets to realize they were called handbags, but I still don't know why they're called purses, because purses and pockets are two different
I
things.
seem to
Because
know...
reticules was too hard to say.
Yes, the Americans said, nope, we're just going to call it a purse. So then in the mid to late 1800s, then it comes in... Then in comes to the mid to late 1800s. This is when women started to rebel. Dress patterns started to include instructions on sewing pockets into your skirts. That is, if you felt like being a strong, brave, bold, independent woman or normal, either one really didn't matter.
In the early 1900s is when all hell broke loose for women. This is when you might find a woman wearing pants.
Oh my gosh, no!
No way.
Woman
Not the
pants.
pants.
Apparently, women having fabric between their legs was thought of as stripping their femininity away. It wasn't until World War I that women's pants basically mirrored guys' pants, including having functional pockets.
You're wearing pants. Do you feel less like a woman?
No.
You feel like a woman. Dun, 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 dun.
Don't worry, she can still bang bang in without her pockets.
Oh, I'm hungry. Do you have any cake in your pocket?
No, I'm sorry. These
What
pockets.
kind of woman are
These
you?
pockets are too small.
You are just because wearing pants. You should have. You
Do
should.
you have cake in your pocket?
No,
I
I'm
bet
not
your
a
pockets,
woman.
Your pockets are probably bigger than mine.
I'm not
so
a
what's
woman.
Your excuse?
Women
So?
carry cakes. Men
Listen,
do not carry cakes.
His
Why?
pocket
Is
being
that-
bigger means
is
he's
that
a working
too feminine for you?
man. He can't have those cakes in his pocket.
That's right.
Is it too feminine for you?
The cake buckets?
You should be carrying cake with you at all
I
times.
think cake pockets need to make
There's
a comeback.
carrot cake in the fridge.
Oh,
Have
so?
carrot cake.
Does it taste like carrot?
Yes.
Yes.
It tastes like pocket.
And it has Paw Patrol on it.
Does it really?
Yes.
The questions you want to ask right now.
Is it really Marshall on there?
No. He's in his cage.
Oh, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Oh, sorry. I was pulling a James. I was too busy hearing about the cake pockets. But then, post-war 1900s had fashion in a crisis once again.
Dun dun dun.
Trousers were being designed for women, which sounds like a good thing, right? Not so fast, my pocket cake-eating friend, because fashion is obsessed with slimming women's figures, which meant that pockets started being cut out of the picture for standard trouser design.
So then it became a mishmash of design. Some women's pants had pockets, some did not. It was chaotic, I tell you, chaotic.
Because there was no more cake in pockets.
I know, it's such...
Cake could not fit in pockets nowadays.
They should.
This is why.
They should. I should turn to my wife and be able to get a cake out of her pocket anytime I want.
I know what I'm ordering from her next time.
Yes. Cake pockets.
Cake pockets.
The fashion designers thinking of the time was that men have pockets to keep things in and women had pockets just for decoration. Didn't have to be functional, just pretty.
The 70s through the early 90s brought a period of fashion where women started dressing in menswear or menswear-inspired clothing. And this was sexy.
I agree with that.
It also solved the pocket issues, but that was short-lived as the rise of the overpriced designer handbag took over the minds and hearts of women and greedy purse salespeople everywhere.
Stupid handbags.
So the cry for women's pockets is still slowly being addressed by the fashion industry. Skirts with pockets are available, more so than they have ever been, and jean pockets are being designed with extra-large iPhones in mind. However, there is still one plight that women have to consider when buying a pair of pants, and that is the dreaded and 100% evil fake pocket, which I have on a couple of my pants, and I can agree, I hate it. Like the front pockets are sewn closed.
Yeah,
there's
what's
no
the
pocket
point?
to it.
I think
And
they're
then there's a
stupid.
back pocket. So it's like I have to carry my phone in my back pocket, and then I don't like that.
They're stupid. They're stupid. It's
They're
just for
stupid.
show, and
Yeah.
they're deceiving.
But then don't forget, like, all of our jeans have that stupid little pocket.
Yeah, what is
That's
that
your
for?
key
What is
pocket.
that for?
That's your key pocket.
I thought it
Is
was
it
like
really a
I
key
thought it was for
pocket?
change.
Oh, is it?
How
I have
are
no
you
idea.
supposed to fish change out of that
You're not.
pocket? We gotta look this up.
It's a secret pocket.
What?
I put you know what I put in that little pocket? I put the tiniest, tiny cake that I can find in that pocket.
So
Maybe you should
crumb.
keep a cake recipe and give it to people. Just pull it out. Cake recipe for you. A laminated cake. So if you do wash it, it'll be ready to go always.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Back in the 1800s, cowboys used to wear their watches on chains and keep them in their waistcoats. To keep them from getting broken, Levi's introduced this small pocket where they could keep their watch.
It's a watch pocket.
It's a watch pocket.
Oh.
So they would have it attached inside, and they would put the thing there, and then we'd just pull it out. And okay, cool. So now we know it was for watches.
I like the description you gave with your physical movements that everyone can see.
They can use their
She
imagination.
was showing everybody how to pull it out.
Did you ever see? Did you ever see Monkey Story?
I did have a sea monkey
Okay.
story. So
Does it involve pockets?
No.
Can you tie the two together?
Yeah, I got the powder out of my pockets and let them grow.
Okay.
So actually, I had sea monkeys for a year in college and let them grow massive, and they got really scary to the point that they were freaking my roommates out.
You got them to grow, really?
Yeah, they were like big. I mean, I'd probably say they're about a quarter the size of a small fingernail. They were that big.
Wow.
And
I
they
can never get any of them to grow.
ugly looking things. And my roommate one day came in and said, if you don't flush them down the toilet, I'm going to throw them throw a temper tantrum.
You should have barbecued and ate them.
I was just like really confused by them because they got really ugly. They got really big. So that was my weird sea monkey story.
I like it.
All right, so let's get back to the beer.
I finished it.
I'm actually really
I did a
impressed
while
by it.
ago.
Once again, it's Star Trek: The Next Generation Captain's Holiday. So, JL, what's your thoughts?
It's all right. Little bitter at times. I didn't really get much of the the citrus flavor from it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I would definitely rate it. I go 3.
It wasn't that bad, even though I haven't finished this one yet. It's mostly because I have to go to the bathroom.
Was that the
Loud noises coming from outside.
Was that the Hanukkah dog?
I was worried that was my phone going off. I was going to get in trouble. I would go 3. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
not the
moderate.
best. It's good.
The
but-
label's a 3 also. I'm not sure what that tiki thing's supposed to be.
I don't know, but it's not as good as the last Star Trek label.
No, not at all.
Can I see the box?
I'm gonna say 4 because I found it really drinkable.
Yeah.
Like, but I think the bitter would probably get to me. It's not the worst beer we've had. It's not the best beer we've
No,
had.
it's middle of the road. I agree with JL. I don't get any of the citrus
No.
either. I just get a bitter finish at the end.
I'd give it a 3. There's a whole thing on the bottom, a whole description. You probably don't see when buying it because you can't look at the bottom of the packaging.
Yeah, I tried to do that, but then all the bottles fell out.
Exactly. You don't have to be a Starfleet captain or negotiate a difficult trade agreement between the Gamorreans. I don't watch Star Trek.
Gamorreans?
That one. And the Daklids. Daklids, yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe one of us should read this.
Yeah. No, keep going. It's great. It's like
I
my
know.
script always.
To deserve a little rest and relaxation, in the Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Captain's Holiday, the crew convinces Captain Picard to take a much-needed vacation on Pleasure Planet Risa. Number 1, Commander Riker tricks the captain into buying a small statue called Horga Hin when he arrives. After being accosted by a steady stream of women, he is told that displaying the statue in public suggests he is a Jamaharan.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Whether for Jamaharan or simpler moments of pleasure, our tropical getaway should be perfect for kicking back and escaping the stresses of everyday life here on Earth. Enjoy the lemon, lime, and orange citrus hop flavors of Captain's Holiday Ale,
feel
and
like that was a
engage
trick
in
by
a
number
well-deserved vacation with every sip.
I remember
So
that.
that explains the tiki torch.
I
You're
remember that
welcome.
episode because the women came up to him and they said, "I'm jamming, I jam a harin with you. I'm jamming."
That's
Nicole
almost as
doesn't
bad
get it.
as the movie I watched,
I
Chris.
don't get it. I don't
song.
get it.
What movie did you watch, James?
So I had the pleasure of having choice of the movies, which hasn't happened for the past month because it was that festive season when this episode was recorded previously. So I chose Kong Skull Island.
I've watched that.
Now, it's the movie, and it's meant to follow on. Did you know from Godzilla? It's meant to be all set in the same time frame.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
waiting
kinda like-
for the Godzilla versus King Kong movie.
Which, yeah, I think will happen. So then they all go. It's set. It starts off World War II with these pilots crashing and Kong, and they fighting each other on this island, and then Kong comes up and separates them. Blah blah blah. That happens, and then it goes to Vietnam. They're on the way back from Vietnam. The U.S. soldiers stop at this island. They try and do some tests, but actually the guy's hunting monsters. John Goodman, who's skinny in this.
Skinnier.
Yeah, but he's skinny. Samuel L. Jackson.
Always entertaining.
He's playing Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep.
That's
So he's
all
the-
he does in every movie now.
Tom Holland, not Tom Holland, because I said not Tom Holland. Tom Hiddleston from Thor.
Yeah.
He's like the tough guy in it, so you still can't really believe it. They all go through this adventure to
You
find.
missed the best person in
Hang
it.
on, I was getting
Okay,
there.
I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Shutting.
Hang on.
Shutting
My
off the
review.
mic. Go
So
ahead.
they go to the island, blow stuff up. Kong comes out, smashes stuff up. They're running through their lives, and they run into John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
He's the best character in the whole thing.
Yes.
And
Because
his
he's John C. Reilly.
playing John C. Reilly from Step Brothers, who's been locked on an island for 40 years with these people that don't speak English, but he's made his own language up by looking at them, which is the funniest thing ever. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And Kong's has parents, and yeah, it went on. And I sat there, and stuff happened, and yeah, how I'm describing it to you is how much love I had for it.
Yeah.
So how many
Very
crumpets?
It's worth a watch because you kind of just want to watch it and see what happens. But again, it was up there with bad movies. I'm going to say 3 crumpets.
Oh, so it's not even an entertaining bad movie?
Things happen, but you're just like, this is really drawn out for this movie.
Is it just me, but on any of these gigantic monster movies, does anybody else wonder how big their poops are?
So you want a poop movie?
I don't want to see it, but...
So you want like that scene in Jurassic Park
Yeah.
where they show the Triceratops. Was it the Triceratops?
Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah.
island's got to be covered.
That big mound of poo
In
that
monkey
she goes
poo.
digging through.
I mean,
Putting
Kong
on
was
the giant gloves and sticking her hand in.
Kong was impressive, but it just was like this weird kind of like, oh, all right, yeah, this is really obvious.
And Kong is always by himself. So
Yeah.
how did, where are his parents?
Well,
Is he going to be the last gigantic monkey in the world? Where does he poop? I have so many questions.
that still haven't been answered.
No, they're never answered by any Kong movie.
Maybe when they do Kong versus Godzilla,
See, I wonder how big is Godzilla's poop?
maybe they'll have a poop off.
As long as Godzilla wins.
Yes, I root for Godzilla every time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Did
definitely.
you ever watch the old Godzilla movies
Yeah,
yeah.
I used
They
to
was-
love them.
with Mothra and
Nicole, did you ever watch him?
Nope.
honestly, they used to be like shown around like the craziest times in England.
You
like-
missed out because they actually just had a marathon during Christmas.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Dang it. This is the joys of not having cable.
Well, I tried to show it to my boys once. Godzilla versus Smog Monster, which is my favorite one of them all.
Oh, the smog monster?
and
Yeah.
I don't. It was so slow. I don't remember it being that slow, but
What
it's
was-
slow. It takes forever for anything to happen.
Godzilla's son called.
Godzuki.
No, it wasn't Godzuki.
Reptar.
It was in the cartoon.
No, he was.
Yeah.
It was.
That's who
It,
Reptar is based off.
it wasn't. It was.
I
But the thing
know.
was, though, he used to do this really cool like thing where he was going to come out, and it was so Japanese that it was like hilarious. It wasn't. He wasn't Godzuki.
And Godzuki. That was the theme
There
song.
was a cartoon.
Yeah. it
Oh,
was
yeah.
Godzilla and Godzuki.
Jay, I was now doing some research. We just.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Well, while he does that, we've got a couple of emails in. If you are listening and want to send us an email, have any comments or suggestions for an episode, sorry, what do you got?
Manila.
Manila.
Or Minya,
Manila.
as he was known in the American dubbed versions.
Oh. But he used to do like almost the
This
bat
one,
symbol.
right? That's the one you're thinking?
Yeah, he almost used to do like the bat symbol, and it used to flash, and it used to
Yeah,
spin
he,
in.
He was in Son of Godzilla, and I think he was in a few other ones.
I don't remember.
Destroy All Monsters. That was a great one.
All right, email.
Our email, if you would like to send us comments or suggestions or anything like that, just have something to say, is podcast42show@gmail.com. 42 is, of course, numerical, so podcast42show@gmail.com. And we have 2 emails today. Elizabeth Frickle said, since you guys are recording out of Florida, I have to know, is it really as crazy as the news makes it out to be? Are bath salts available on every street corner?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Every street corner.
Pretty fair, especially on OBT. You could
can't-
probably find some crazy stuff there.
You can't throw a dead flamingo without hitting a bath salt salesman.
And everything you read online is true.
I believe the bath salt thing is more Miami than up here.
It is.
Yeah, that was that one time.
It wasn't just
One
that
time.
one time.
There there were a couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remember that one time where there was video of the guy eating somebody's face.
Yeah,
That-
he was.
Yeah.
That drug used to be legal. You could go purchase that.
But
at places.
marijuana is a class 1. Really? Jeez Louise.
But also, if you wanted to buy alcohol to mess yourself up, legally, talking about stuff that's legal, you can buy bitters, the stuff, and you don't even have to be 21 to buy bitters, and it has 40% alcohol in it.
Does it?
Yeah.
I thought it was just like the cherry stuff. The grenadine was just an added thing.
Nope, it's 40% alcohol.
Huh.
It's 40%, but the love, 40%.
the more you know.
It's like I've been making Manhattans for the last 3 weeks. That's become the drink of choice in this house,
Oh, just for the bitters, huh?
just for the bitters.
I don't think I've ever had a Manhattan.
I'll make you one when I have some more.
Yeah, once
Okay.
we restock our Manhattan ingredients.
Wow, you went through that quick.
We went through 2 handles of whiskey and 3 bottles of vermouth, and then we still have a bottle of bitters left because you don't really use that much.
But the vermouth was because you were only supposed to add a little, and you added a lot the first couple times, right?
The first time, yeah.
Yeah.
The first night when we made 25 of them, and the hangover was good.
Party.
Yeah, 1-person party. Mastered the recipe, though. It was good.
Steve Long also emailed us and saying, just FYI, on your Nickelodeon shows, you failed to mention the greatest Nick show of all time, Rocket Power. Shame on you.
What's Rocket
You
Power?
don't remember Rocket Power?
I remember
Rocket
Rocket Power,
Power.
but I would never say it was the greatest Nickelodeon show of all time.
I agree with you there. Rocket Power was about these 4 kids who were like skateboarding and doing all the stunts on the bikes, and they were always in competitions, and they lived out in California by the beach, and they had their Hawaiian friend who was always giving them advice, and I can't remember his name, but
They had weird hair. That's the only thing I can
Yeah,
remember.
it wasn't the best show on Nickelodeon,
it was
but we probably
an honorable
could
mention,
have,
yeah.
It was definitely an honorable mention.
Well, there's so
It
many
had a following.
shows. I mean, what do you want us to do? Like 6-part Nickelodeon show?
Yes.
Yeah.
We probably could have.
No, I think people would tune out.
Well, those are our emails. Remember, podcast42show@gmail.com. If you have anything to say, you can also find us. What's our new group name? For
The
Facebook?
official Podcast 42 Facebook group. And that's the last time it's going to change, I promise.
This week.
The official Podcast 42 Facebook group. It will ask you to ask to join, and it'll ask how you heard about us. So if this is the episode that you are finding us, just say, I was listening to your episode about sea monkeys and pockets. And we will add you.
password will
Even
be
if you
pocket
say,
cakes.
I really don't like you, but I heard your Facebook group is fun.
It
You
is
know,
fun.
We'll still let you join.
Pocket cakes.
Pocket cakes.
I mean, we could have the Pocket Cake password.
What?
Pocket Cake's password.
What's
well, we
that
can't
for?
now because you just announced it to the whole internet.
No, but like you could just that could be like the question. You have to ask a question and answer the question.
Ah,
Pocket Cakes.
All right. Sounds good.
You can also find the show on all the stuff that you normally find podcasts on. My recommendation is just get a podcast app. I think that's the easiest way to listen to this show or any other show that you might be interested in. And the webpage, if you want all the links to everything, is podcast42show.wordpress.com.
Excellent.
Also, if you play Star Wars Battlefront 2, message us.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will play. I'm
We
going to
will
go
play.
buy the game.
There is a group that is formed.
So,
That's
JL, you're
fun.
going to have to buy an Xbox.
No.
They're cheap.
Yeah.
The Xbox One's cheap.
We've become big Battlefronters.
And not only can you play most of us, but you can play some other people who appeared on the show too, like Keely's in there, you said.
And for us, is the leader of the group.
Oh, for us, oh, God. So while you play, you have to answer Star Wars trivia. Just be warned.
The entire time.
Who's the bad guy that he loves? That's not even in any of the movies.
Sidious? No.
No, Darth Terminus.
I thought no, Raven.
Raven.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he's from the video
Revan
game.
or something.
Raven, yeah.
Actually, Nicole did buy me a really cool Christmas present of the calendar with Star Wars facts for every day.
Yes, you've been Snapchatting that.
So, but my question is, did you read the Snapchat?
No, you didn't send it
sometimes
to
your
me.
Snapchats go quick.
Yeah, well, sometimes I don't know how to use the fucking app, so it's all right. But my question for the
What?
the app, it's very confusing for me. I get very confused of how the time thing changes, and you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll show you. I'll teach you.
I feel
Stupid
really
time
old.
You old
changes.
man,
Yeah,
I'll
like,
teach you how
honestly,
to use
like,
Snapchat.
you should have seen a few of us the other day trying to figure out how to add each other. Was like, honestly, it was like
Oh my gosh, it's
cavemen
the
invented.
easiest thing.
And we were like, we're really old. This has happened. We're
Yeah.
old.
You've tipped the scale.
Anyway, my question for you was, who spoke the first words in the New
Episode
Hope?
4.
Who spoke the first words?
Yeah, officially, who spoke the first words in the first Star Wars movie ever?
Does R2D2 count?
No.
Does that actually has to be human language?
Yes.
C-3PO.
Correct.
Yeah.
Anthony Daniels had the first words ever in Star Wars.
Well, if you remember back to our Star Wars episode, George Lucas thought he was a radical because he had the robots opening the movie.
I do. I just wanted to see if you would be...
I paid attention to the show.
Well, it was more like...
Well, she
I knew
doesn't-
the
she's-
answer because I asked Froz the
That's
other
only
day.
okay.
Did he know the answer?
Huh?
Did he know the
Star
answer?
Wars Oracle.
He as well was. He was
He
like,
went
it's either R2D2 or C3PO.
Okay, because that's where I was going.
Yeah.
If R2D2 was, I thought it might be a trick question. So if R2D2
Yeah.
was wrong, it was C3PO.
Human words.
All right, well, that wraps up the show.
Yay! I had fun. It's good to be back. I haven't been here in a while.
I know. Where have you been?
I was sick, and then I was working or just not a part of Star Wars.
Or dealing sailor
Yeah.
sea monkeys now. That's the new trade.
Do you want to tease what might be coming up next?
Yeah, one of my favorites, like basically what my entire Christmas revolved around. Bob Bob's Burgers.
We're doing Bob's Burgers.
Does that mean you're going to make some Bob's Burgers for the burger show?
Yes, I will prepare Bob's Burgers for the Bob's Burgers recording day.
Are you going to make one of the Bob's Burgers from the show?
Yeah, because our
sent you
lovely
a video.
James got me the Bob's Burgers Burger Cookbook.
Okay.
Because, I mean, just to give another little tease, in every episode there's a joke burger name on the Burger of the Day board, and it's an entire cookbook of real recipes for those joke burger names.
Okay.
We're getting burgers next
Are they
week.
going to be made with meat because you're a vegetarian?
There are actually 4 vegetarian burgers at the very end of the book, but I ate a lot of meat at work yesterday. I'll tell you what happened.
Sure you did.
I will sacrifice.
You just cut it right there. That could be the greatest ending ever.
I will sacrifice and eat a burger. If I'm going to be cooking all of these burgers in this book, I will eat it.
All right, well, stay tuned for that. On that note, I'm Christopher DeVos.
I am James, the British guy Duncan.
I'm Nicole Fasone.
And I'm J.L. Tros.
Bye.
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 See you
Bang,
later.
bang, bangity bang.
Bang, bang.
You are no longer listening to Podcast 42. Bye-bye.
Some of the stuff you just heard might have been embellished, made up, or just plain incorrect. In other words, don't use this show to write a book report with. You will get a bad grade. Just like all the hosts.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!